Hey guys, OGalbina here, bringing you guys our SBT Week 1 battle against TCK, owner of the league, I believe, which is really cool. Tyler's a really good player, so we definitely have a good one set ahead. I know I said that this was going to go up next week on Tuesday, but I was really excited to record it, and I think I'm going to upload it on Wednesday, so maybe it's next Tuesday, maybe it's the 12th that this goes up, who knows. I kind of have to decide what I want to do. But if you guys are excited for our Week 1 battle, be sure to drop a like, as well as sub to the channel if you're new here. I'd really appreciate it. We're pushing towards 700. If you help me out along that journey, again, I would be really appreciative of that. But yeah, I'm not going to do like really in-depth team builders with these types of videos. But what I will do is I'll go and kind of give you a quick brief overview of what we're bringing. And I'll drop the poke paste in the description below as well. I don't care if people like, go for the league and come and see my spread stuff like that. It's whatever. I don't really care. I probably sent it to him already too, knowing me. But I'll kind of give you a brief overview of what I have and then what he has in my game plan and my ideas going into it. So with that being said, you can see the first one on our team, which is going to be Mega Glade. There's just a 4 attacks Mega Glade, Zen Headbutt, Close Combat, and Knock Off Poison Jab. Our stabs are crazy in this game. The only things that can take our stabs are going to be Lottie, Clef, which Knockoff and Poison Jab deal with respectively. And they really don't appreciate switching in regardless. Lottie definitely doesn't. Clef, if it gets knocked off and it was like Kebby or something like that, we can Poison Jab it after, or like Zen Headbutt into Poison Jab, depending on spreads and, how chipped we end up getting it, which is great. And we have plenty of ways of really bullying down or forcing chip on Clef. We bully down Clef with like things like Age Slash, which is going to be our next member. Or an SD variant, Iron Head, Shadow Sneak, King Shield, and Swords Dance. Really does good in this matchup. If we can just chip down that, or we pretty much need to get rid of Crocodile, and then if we can extremely chip down that Mega Blastoise on the other side, we'll be in a really good position to potentially win with our Age Slash. It's also a great Lottie check. It's a great Clef check. We can SD up if it's like a Cosmic Power variant or something like that if we need to boost past it, which I think is really nice, and we'll, out-boost it, obviously. We'll be able to get it to +4 by the time it's at +3 if we switch in on the first Cosmic Power, which again is really important in my opinion. Just a great Pokemon overall. Great at revenge killing things like Lottie too if they get low and, are set up and, just a big threat, which is great. We're adamant with a good amount of attack investment, so it's good. And the other Pokemon that just absolutely bullies Clef is going to be our Nidoking. And if you look at TCK's team, he doesn't appreciate Nidoking at all. Whereas Stab's Ice Beam Stealth Rock set does really good. Now, rocks aren't super useful because I think he has a pretty free spin in his Blastoise, because I really can't afford to take chip on my AG, especially if it ends up being like Dark Pulse in the 4th slot or something like that. I'm in a really bad position if he hits me with that, or even just a Water Pulse just does a chunk, or Scald could burn me. So I'm really not going to use my Aegis Slash to check that Blaster, especially because my only way of hitting it is Shadow Sneak. So he has a pretty free spin in this game, so until that's gone or super weakened, we're probably not clicking rocks. We also have a Life Orb 4 attacks Grand with Hydro Pump, Shuriken, Dark Pulse, and Grass Knot. Again, really well. He does not appreciate this Pokemon at all, especially if he's Fizz Def Clef for Glade. He pretty much just gets 2-tapped by Hydro Pump on everything on his team, besides the Mega Blastoise, with which Dark Pulse and a Grass Knot can KO some variants and things like that. We have Shuriken to revenge like a Scarf Cinderace, which is really clutch. We have Shuriken to revenge a Scarf Crook as well, which I think is really important, because Scarf Crook actually looks like a demon versus me. Scarf Knockoff in the endgame is very scary. Or even just Scarf Earthquake, if Serena gets chipped and goes down, which it is liable to do, so something to keep in mind. We also have a pretty defensive Primarina where Scald, Moonblast, Encore, and Flip Torn. Encore is great for things like the Clef, if I can Encore lock it into either Calm Mind or a Soft Boiled or something like that. I'm in a good position. Just stops potential setup. Same thing if it's like a fat CM Lottie, I can Encore into Flip Turn, put myself in a pretty good position. That's obviously really nice. It's a great check to Blastoise as well. Soft checks the Crook, soft checks the Crobat that isn't carrying Poison type, which they typically aren't. Soft checks the Cinderace, and checks the Lottie. So realistically, Prim is probably going to be the MVP. This game does really well. We're modest with a little bit of investment, but we're mostly pretty Fizz Def on this set. And then we have an AV Serena to use it as a pivot into Blastoise, because as good as Prim does, I don't really have a way of keeping it healthy on this team, outside of its own leftovers recovery, so I want to try and use Prim for as little as humanly possible. Like, I'm probably not going to use it as my initial Blastoise pivot early in the game, or I'm probably not going to use it as my initial Lottie pivot during the game because I have an Age Slash, because I have things that can check those other things, whereas Prim is a little bit more important in checking things like Cinderace, which really does, give me a bad time with just Powerball, U-Turn, and Gunk Shot. Really does kind of ruin my entire day, so we're going to have to be very careful about that, obviously. But yeah, you can see the team that TCK brought. It's going to be Latios, Clef, Cinderace, Crobat, Crook, and Mega Blastoise. Like I said, Lottie's always scary to switch into, especially like a Life Orb variant. Cinderace, with its great natural speed and just, its coverage and Powerball U-turn Gunk Shot, is really, really solid versus my team. So that's something we have to be really careful about, again, with Prim. Hopefully keeping it out of range if we can. Crobat, definitely annoying. Crook, very scary if it's like a Scarf variant, I think. Clef, I'm not super worried about. And the Mega Blastoise, just annoying. If he keeps it healthy, it's a good stopgap to things like Gren or Nidoking getting up rocks, or my Aegislash winning. But I do have two pretty good pivots into it, and pretty much everything on my team outside of potentially Serena or Primarina, which are my defensive checks, do outspeed it, so we have ways of revenging it, which I'm not super worried about. It's obviously not Libero Cinderace, it's obviously not Shell Smash Blastoise, but I should mention that going in. And yeah, with that being said, on lead, I do want to lead Primarina, because I want to lead something that puts me in a good position versus that Cinderace, because Cinderace leads really well versus a lot of my team. Really, besides Gren and Prim, it can kind of just U-turn out on everything. So I wanted to potentially have a lead that could deal with that thing. So I am going to lead with my Prim, as we do see a Crocodile lead. And this is an incredibly free Scald right here, and I will definitely take this. If I can nab a burn on this Crobat, I'll be in a really good position. Unfortunately, we're not going to nab that burn. The next turn, he is going to go for a U-turn. I'm going to put this on slow, because I can't talk that fast and be analytical. He's going to go for a U-turn right here. I don't expect him to go for a Poison Move even if it has it, and I don't think he'll really have it in this matchup, to be completely honest. I don't think he could really fit it. I think Defog is really, really clutch for him, especially if I was like a spiking Gren, because just Blastoise gets super chipped. Or potentially like a Taunt variant, U-turn, Brave Bird, Roost. I just don't think he's really going to fit Poison Jab, or not Poison Jab, Cross Poison in the matchup, especially when I have things like Aegislash and Nidoking to really take advantage of that on my team if he gives them the free switch. I think he's much better off going for a U-turn, and right here I can just go for a Scald, bait another burn on something, and again, nothing really switches into me well. The only Scald resistance on the team are Latios and Blastoise, which don't want to take my stab option in Moonblast, obviously. So I am just going to click Scald right here. Latios does end up coming in. Unfortunately, we are going to miss out on a burn, but we do see we do a little bit of damage right there. I'm going to get lefties back, showing that he's not lefties, so probably not a Calm Mind variant or anything like that. I'm going to go hard Aegislash, and while I can take a hit from this Latios, I don't want to. We're going to take that Side Shock pretty easily, and right here I am actually going to make a double, expecting potentially things like Crook, the Crook to come in, getting my Serena, giving me good momentum on this Crobat coming in, allowing me to go into my Nidoking and kind of click a button. Now, he can stay in Brave Bird if he really wants to, but I don't think it's in his best interest. Regardless, I'm going to Ice Beam, because I think the most likely pivot is potentially like Latios, which I want to be careful about, and I don't think I should get up my rocks yet in case this Blastoise comes in instead, because it's kind of just a wasted turn. Now, that's not the most damage, but it is unrecoverable damage at the very least, as right here I'm going to make that initial pivot out into Serena. And again, while I do risk an Ice Beam coming out, I know that Ice Beam is a good middle ground play for him to click. I'm not too KO'd by that, and again, I don't want to take unnecessary chip on my Prim, and I don't want to take a Toxic if this is Toxic choice, so I figured Serena's a good middle ground, at least right now. I don't need to make that play, and what Serena will do is it'll give me good momentum, because he should see that I'm Assault Vest from this damage, and he should know that he can't OHKO me this next turn, obviously, with only doing 14 prior. So again, this does give me a very free U-turn, and it's going to give me a very free switch into my Nidoking once again, just to kind of click a button. If he wants to go Blastoise again, crazy play, but I am just going to click Ice Beam. Again, chipping down that Blastoise to pretty unrecoverable damage. He does go Latios this time, probably expecting a Sludge Wave or an Earth Power or something of the sorts. We're just going to miss out on the KO, doing 79%, but because I know a Roost is really likely here, I can get out in my Gren pretty freely and just click Dark Pulse. Oh, no, I actually doubled into Nidoking. Sorry. We're going to double right into Nidoking. I believe I expected the Clef to come in, and I wanted a free Sludge Wave. Yeah, sorry. So this turn, we're obviously going to double out instead of clicking Dark Pulse, because I'm kind of forced into clicking Dark Pulse, not like a Hydro Pump or a Gunk Shot that could, 2-hit KO this Clef. So I expected him to go out into that, because I believe if he does have just, even, it might not even need to be invested. I don't remember the calc off the top of my head. But he could definitely live a Dark Pulse into a Life Orb Hydro Pump for sure. And I figured he would do that instead of going Stoice, because Dark Pulse and Grass Knot definitely will just kill this thing from this range. But he is going to make that Blastoise play, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's fine. I still have pivots into this thing. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But it's just, not going to give us the best positioning. I went to Nidoking because I wanted a free Sludge Wave, because if you look at his team at this point, it's a Crobat at 44. Doesn't really beat me or anything like that. I could just Ice Beam at the next turn or prevent a Roost with an Earth Power. Regardless, we're doing a lot of damage to it. This Crook, again, unrecoverable damage if it wants to come in and take a potential Earth Power too. not too great for it, or an Ice Beam expecting the switch. Latios, I just clicked Ice Beam on. I don't know if he's going to make that pivot again, and I think he might even die to a Sludge Wave at that point. I don't know the calc off the top of my head. So there's really nothing that takes that Sludge Wave if I can get it in freely. We just kind of get the pivot wrong. It makes a good middle ground. We're going to go into Prim here, though, because, again, a little bit chipped on our Serena at this point, and if he does make that middle ground Ice Beam play, which he does, we'll get to it KO'd pretty easy. He's going to go for a Water Pulse here, just trying to get chip, which is honestly completely fair. I'm going to flip turn out here. Into, I believe, my Serena this time, and kind of get that momentum back on my side. I believe I just click knock off this time, getting rid of those heavy duty boots, because while I know it probably doesn't kill a bulky bat, what it does is it does force him again into a roost turn, and I still get that free Nidoking. If he wants a Brave Bird here, he takes himself out to recoil, and I believe I definitely still will live, which again, really, really clutch. This turn, I'm going to make a bit of a questionable play. I'm going to go for my rocks. I don't know why I went for my rocks, knowing that the Blastoise is still very, very healthy, can still very well easily live a hit from anything but Serena and get a spin off. But regardless, we're going to make the play, unfortunately. Again, don't think it was in my best interest to rocks up. It was definitely my best interest, even just to make the safe Ice Beam play. But we are going to take an Ice Beam after he goes ahead and clicks Rapid Spin. So good aggressive play on TCK's part. But again, this just allows us into our Prim to get a little bit of free leftovers back. And we're just going to click Moonblast here. This thing's getting very, very chipped, and Moonblast will put it in range of a +2 Shadow Sneak, which is important. Or no, we click Scald, it's getting a switch. Dang, Owen, you're a little aggressive today. But we're going to click Scald on this Crobat. It's going to once again click U-turn on us, not roosting out, which is really, really nice for us as well. And I'm just going to click Scald again, I believe. Trying to bait a burn on that thing if it wants to try and roost in my face, seeing that it's not a 2-hit KO. We're going to do about 40%, which is nice. This next turn, I'm just going to go for Moonblast. If he wants to set up with the Clef or click any recovery move, I can Encore the turn after, but he's actually going to elect to click Thunder Wave, which is definitely unfortunate, especially considering I could have gotten a free Nidoking there and a free Sludge Wave. But it's all good, not the biggest deal in the world. He's going to Soft Boil this next turn as I throw off a Moonblast. And again, while it sucks that I'm paired, I still am very healthy. So providing I don't get super unlucky, we're still in a good position to check a lot of his team. Now right here, I'm going to make a bit of a risky play, risking that para, and go for an Encore here, expecting him to Soft Boil up once again. Locking him into his Soft Boiled. And what this does is this gives me, if he elects to stand, a very free switch into Nidoking and a very free KO. Crobat dies from here. Crocodile definitely doesn't want to take an Ice Beam, and I could definitely click that pretty freely against the rest of his team, because Ice Beam into a Sludge Wave can potentially either kill or put that Blastoise in range of our AG, which is, again, really, really clutch for us. And then Ice Beam just kind of nukes everything that's not Cinderace, and that's a really aggressive switch in a play I don't think he can afford to make. So what I'm going to do, expecting TCK to switch out this turn and get into something that advantageously takes on my Nidoking, which is really just the Latios. Latios or Cinderace, and Cinderace isn't a play I expect, really. It's going to be Latios or the Crocodile. I'm actually going to click Moonblast this turn, despite knowing, obviously, he's out-recovering me, expecting him to make that double into Lati or Crook. And I am actually going to get that play right and not get punished by me getting paired, and going to be able to catch the Latios and knock it out, taking a ton of pressure off of our Aegislash, really opening it up for the endgame, which I think is really, really important. Next up is going to be Cinderace. I am going to scout for like Banded Gunk Shot and kind of just sack off my Serena. He's going to make a good play and just U-turn out, expecting me to scout probably for Band, because I think Band might have just KO'd me. And I want to keep this around just to have that fire resist if it is Banded, or even if it's Scarf or something like that. And I don't want to risk the para because I don't need to. This next turn I'm going to get on my Greninja for free. I'm just going to click Hydro Pump as he pivots out into Blastoise, and this is most definitely in range of our Gren, as I am just going to click Dark Pulse this Grass Knot this next turn, knock out the Blastoise, and again, really, really open up that AG endgame. If I could just get Chip on that Cinderace, it wins the game pretty freely. And I guess the Crook, but the Crook isn't that big of a worry to me. Next up, Clef's going to come out. I do get a free Nidoking at this point, and I believe I am just going to click Ice Beam this turn, or Sludge Wave this turn, because again, even though that's a resist, that's 33% of unrecoverable damage, unless he throws up Wish, and at this point, I don't think he's Wish on his Clef. The game's going a little too fast for me, even on slow mode. So right here, let's go back. I am going to click that Sludge Wave. I still think it's worth keeping Nidoking and still pivot in on a Moonblast and basically claim a KO at that point. So there's no reason for me to, obviously stay and take this. And looking at the rest of my team, I could have gotten Prim and not gotten 2-hit KO'd. But then that leaves me a little bit more open to Cinderace, even open to a potential Crobat, but we still have AG for that. So I don't want to make that play. I actually make the play into Glade, because looking at the rest of TCK's team, it's not super useful at this point. other than for this thing. And I will take an Earthquake. If it's Scarf, it'll 2-hit KO me, but then I know it's Scarf, and I can go into my Gren and just kind of click a Shuriken at that point, because Shuriken and the Hydro Pump, provided I don't get like 2 hits, I believe will 2-hit KO Clef from there. It'll kill this, it'll kill this. So definitely puts me in a good position if he's Scarf, and if not, I just click Close Combat for free. And there's not really anything on the team that wants to take that, especially something like the Clef. I can click Close Combat into either Zen or Poison Jab. I don't know the calc off the top of my head. We would have ran it, you know, gone for Zen if, you know, it killed, in case it was ended up being like a Kebia, what do you call it, Clefable? Because we haven't seen an item on it or anything like that. But yeah, we're just going to make the Glade play. Take a fat chunk from this Earthquake, will not lie. 67% is a ton. Krug is a demon, but we're just going to be able to make it up. We're going to see that he's not Scarf, that he's actually Chople, but that's not going to save you from a Glade. That was a max HP Chople Crocodile. Talked to him after the game, and still just dropped very easily. I don't even think it was a roll. But this next turn, Cinderace is going to come out. I'm just going to let it KO my Glade. Again, I don't think I need Glade. Maybe it'll bite me in the ass for the Clef, but I really don't think I need it. He's going to U-turn out, going to Crobat, and this gives me a really good position. Right here, I can just click Water Shuriken and pick this thing off. 2 hits guaranteed, knocks it out, which is great. If he goes into Clef again, I just Hydro Pump after. And if he goes into Cinderace, I can obviously just 2-hit KO with Water Shuriken. Now, Clef's going to come out here. I'm going to go hard Nidoking. If he wants to soft boil up, that's fine with me. And if he wants to go for a Moonblast, that's fine. All I do is I click Sludge Wave. I pick me up a KO. We see that it is actually not Kebia, which is nice. Kebia would have put it in range of like an Iron Head or something like that. And then Cinderace is going to come out. It's going to Powerball and knock out my Nidoking, but that's all good. We have our Primarina and our Greninja in the back. Now, if Primarina gets fully paired here, or crit or something like that, we'll be in an okay position because I can go into Gren and I believe click Shuriken and the Sneak and pretty much always take out this thing. Yeah, so that's kind of going to be my backup plan here. And if that doesn't KO because we get like 2 hits into, you know, Shadow Sneak Mineral, it's tough. That's just kind of life, I guess. But he's actually going to go for Gunk Shot and miss, and then we're actually not going to get fully paired, which is great because we're going to knock out the Cinderace from full. We're going to have a big 3-0 dub week 1, which is, again, very, very nice. So GG's DCK, it was definitely a good one. Cinderace was really scary, but it was awesome to see Prim put in so much work in this game and really position our team well. Nidoking also went pretty crazy, was great as a break of this game. Gren as well did really well. AG didn't even have to really do anything. AG and Glade, our top 2 picks, just kind of were there. Glade hit the field once, got a kill and died, and then AG hit the field once and didn't do really anything. Besides, I think, yeah, double out. It's a 1-hit and doubled out, so that's pretty funny. But the team performed well. We were able to grab a win week 1 and move into week 2 with you know, some confidence and things like that, knowing that the team is doing well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like. Yeah, let me know what you thought of the battle. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Later.